Покатила ляже в ґрунт, допоможе ЗСУ.
Батальоны применяют так называемые бандер-автомобили.
Даю попитали бендера, автомобіль, піч. Їздить по дорозі, а може й по воді. Прокинувся не думати, зубом дали табам. Потопив корабель, Україні слава. Покатила ляже в ґрунт, допоможе ЗСУ.
Okay, that's better. Hi everyone, operator Starsky here. I'm very glad to see you guys. Do you hear me well? I hope so. Okay. Okay, great. So, yeah, I like that intro too. So it was made by some unknown guys. I don't know. I honestly stole it from the internet. So today we have a bunch of news, starting with the missile strike that woke up my dog. So a couple of days ago I brought Fuch back to my apartment, and yeah, I'm not sure whether he's happy about it, because this morning I got up at about 5 a.m. I'm old, I wake up early, so I woke up at around 5. Then I heard sounds of our anti-air cannons, and it was kind of like deja vu, because, you know, I got up to the same sounds on the February 24th. So then we literally heard the sound of this missile flying over our house, and there was a distinctive sound of kaboom, like probably 500 meters away from me. I know exactly, because I know what kind of object is located there. So yeah, there was a bunch of explosions, unfortunately, but fortunately we don't have casualties. I think one person was hospitalized. This person was wounded, but other than that, we're lucky to avoid casualties among civilians. So yeah, it was a funny morning, so to say. And I think that this missile strike was performed because of our recent success in Severodonetsk. So our guys are counter-attacking in Severodonetsk. They managed to capture back some of the districts, and currently they are controlling half of this town. And according to Chief of Military Administration, Mr. Haidai, we have all chances to perform complete liberation of this town. Again, Severodonetsk, and you must understand this, it's not the main target for Russians. The main target is Lysychansk, because Lysychansk is located on a higher ground, and it's much convenient to use our artillery and other weapons located there in order to perform strikes on Russians. So basically Lysychansk is strategically more convenient and more important, but Severodonetsk is it's like the capital of the region, so to say. That's why this Lysychansk, Severodonetsk is important as a symbol, while Lysychansk is more important strategically. And here I have a small video for you made by our guys. So here you can see Russian ammunition storage that is located in that building. Again, Russian bots will say a lot of crap like Ukrainians bombing civilian structures, but civilians are not there. They were asked to leave this area, to evacuate, and you can see those all that ammo exploding on this video. Let's see it once again. So basically there's ammunition and personnel, and yeah, and our artillery is working precisely as usual. Quite a firework, I would say. So Russians have concentrated a lot of their troops around Severodonetsk. They are trying to capture the whole town as much as they can, but they fail because of our defenses in this region, because of our artillery, and of course because of new weapons received from our allies, and the very important fact is that my brigade is proudly responsible for performing defense of Severodonetsk. So my whole brigade is currently there, and our guys are giving those orcs some help, which is beautiful, which is great. Again, today we have some good news regarding this man. This is Major General Kutuzov. So this guy was a chief of so-called armed corps, army corps, of those hybrid forces, I think in Donetsk region. I may be wrong. So there's like two army corps that were formed by Russians, and they were located in the territory of Donbass, the uncontrolled territory of Donbass. There was one in Luhansk, one in Donetsk, and there was another army corps. For some reason people don't talk much about it, but it was located mainly, I think, in the area of Milerva. It's a Russian military airfield not far from Stanitsa Luhanska. And this third army corps, so-called, it was responsible for performing all kinds of reconnaissance activities and stuff like that. We are closely acquainted with those orcs. And this guy was a chief of I think Donetsk Army Corps. Anyways, so he's dead, which is beautiful. And according to our information, he was improved dramatically by our artillery. Again, our artillerists are heroes, literally. So this is great. I think that the more the merrier. Um, Currently in Ukraine, one of the topics that are discussed a lot is a tour of Miss Ovsyannikova around Ukraine. And you must remember this lady, so she was the one who protested on the Russian TV during their live news. And there's quite a lot of interesting things and facts around this protest and around this person. So a lot of Ukrainian people don't trust this protest. Why? Because on the Russian TV nothing happens unplanned. Nothing unplanned is possible on Russian TV. So basically, this woman is now traveling around Ukraine, and she's tweeting a lot of things like this. So Kiev met us with long queues for fuel. When you live in Moscow, it's hard to understand what kind of trouble in the everyday's life Ukrainians are struggling with. So she says about this curfew, this commandant hour, the horrible morning silence, empty streets, howling sirens, and stuff like that. So what Ukrainians basically don't like about representatives of Russian opposition and stuff like that, people who come to Ukraine from Russia, is basically because those people were educated in Russia, because they've spent a lot of their time, for example, like this lady, creating propaganda and fake against Ukraine. They still have this imperialist kind of mentality, and whenever they come to Ukraine, they either try to teach Ukrainians how to build democratic country, or they start, writing stuff like that. Long queues, empty streets, and it kind of sucks. It's not the country that I see every day. So there's another man. His name is Zoro. So he's a very, very famous Russian editor. He made a lot of movies. One of those movies is very popular in Russia. It was dedicated to the Chechen War, and that movie is basically packed with propaganda. It's called Battery, I think. Wait a minute. Okay. Purgatory, not Battery. Purgatory. So this movie was dedicated to the war in Chechnya, and it's packed with Russian propaganda regarding Ukrainian mercenaries, regarding American mercenaries, and there's like all kinds of people. There's like mercenaries from I don't know, Lithuania or Latvia or something like that, and they all fight against courageous Russian army, but Russian Spetsnaz arrives on the scene and kills everybody. But before that, those Chechens decide to crucify the captured commander of Russian tank. Oh my god, but what can I say? You are lucky that you don't have to watch this crap. And yeah, and this Nevzorov, he's a well-educated man and stuff with good language, but the fact is, despite the fact that currently he is supporting Ukraine, he was saying a lot of crap against Ukraine recently. So he was saying he was supporting actually, this denazification, and he said a lot of crap regarding invasion to Finland. So basically, it's all on the internet. He has his own blog, and this man is asking our president for a citizenship. It's like in Ukrainian society we have this discussion whether to give them citizenship or not, because like Russian IT specialists who want to move to Ukraine and work for Ukraine, bring their skills and knowledge. I can understand that. On the other hand, the problem is with this imperialistic mentality. So why this war even started? It's because Russia keeps repeating over and over and over again this racist claim that Ukraine doesn't exist as a country. United States don't exist as a country. Poland don't exist as a country, and stuff like that. So they keep repeating it over and over and over again, and this is basically, this narrative is part of their Russian world ideology. And I basically start understanding why Western public didn't know about this Russian world ideologies, because West wasn't their target audience. So basically this ideology works against nations of all those post-Soviet countries that Vladolf Putler wants to conquer, basically. So there's another funny thing in Russia regarding those claps. So whenever they have, so they stick to this propagandist terminology a lot. So it's not war in Ukraine, it's special operation in Ukraine. Whenever something explodes in Russia, like ammunition storages or some administrative building, they don't call it explosion, they call it clap. They try to filter their language a lot, to avoid calling things the way they are. So there's a lot of claps in Russia. Here we can see a building in I think it's in Siberia, but I might be wrong. In my opinion, there's a lot of internal combat involving their local guerrillas is going on, and yeah, here we can see a lot of their military offices, a lot of their factories and ammunition storages and plants producing claps. That it's funny. It's funny. Yeah. So whenever something like this happens, usually Russians blame natural factors like I don't know, smoking in the wrong place, or like meteorite strikes and stuff like that. But we can see those things, those natural disasters, pretty often these days in Russia. But yeah, I think it's beautiful. The way they bring this information to their public, it's like reading Orwell. I swear, it has the same feeling. And I think one of the funniest things that I have encountered today reading their social media. Again, you guys are lucky for not reading that crap. It's crazy. I have to do it. So their NTV channel, their official channel, is posting such news. Remember, I've been telling you about the black magic, like Ukrainians using black magic and stuff like that. So, Russian combat magician that has extrasensoric abilities and he works for KGB. He said that he knows exactly the date of Zelensky's capitulation. And what you have to understand regarding, Russian TV, so basically, aside of all that propagandist crap that they see and hear every day on their TV from their news, and those movies about Russian Spetsnaz, Russian VDV, DVD, VDV, those glorious airborne troops. They have a lot of TV shows dedicated to aliens, magicians, people with extrasensoric abilities, ghosts, and some kind of modern weapons, like their Ka-52 laser cannons and stuff like that. So their informational field is packed with this crap. And so official channel is now saying that their combat magician who spent years working for KGB knows exactly the date when Ukraine falls to Russian army. Okay, so that's like briefly the news of today. I'm very how you call it in English? Inspired, happy to. I will be very happy to answer your questions. And yeah, Gandalf, basically Gandalf. Psychic, yeah, that's the word. So there's a question about Grandpa Savkovich. He is fine, from what I know, because the guys from our friendly unit are visiting him a lot. I'm gonna visit him as soon as I can, I promise. Thing is that I'm driving through Kateriniivka quite often, but it's like every time I don't have enough time to visit him, unfortunately. Don't blame me, please. Yeah, I would be glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much. I'm losing words. So, any news on Severodonetsk? Yeah, the news on Severodonetsk were in the beginning of this show. My press officer will be sending a lot of new videos, and I will be glad to show them to you guys. What's your plan post-war? It's a really good question. Generally, we... Oh, Jesus Christ. There's like a huge spider on my desk. Please don't eat me, spider. I'm not tasty. So... Sorry for that. Yeah, so our plans post-war is that... wait a minute, I gotta talk to this spider real quick. Get out of here. So, our plans post-war: rebuild our country, make sure nothing like this invasion happens again, and basically sleep a lot, because this is something that we all miss in our situation. I know it's just a spider, but he is Ukrainian spider, and everything Ukrainian is very, very tough. Oh, that's a good question. Whether we have dangerous wildlife in Ukraine that we need to be cautious of. Basically Russians. So we have some wolves, we have bears, but they are very tough to encounter, although we have a lot of forests, green areas that you can get lost at very easily. We have big cats, but not like tigers. They're smaller. They're like ordinary cats, just big. And snakes. So that's pretty much it. No cougars. We don't have cougars in Ukraine. There was one funny story, regarding some rich people in Ukraine. They used to spend their money on all kinds of crap, and once there was a crocodile in Dnipro River found by our rescuers, and it appeared that some rich man was keeping that crocodile, and at some point he decided to get rid of him, and this this poor creature was later found in Dnipro. Then there was a story about a puma, I think, that was spotted in some on some island, and we've been told that it wasn't really dangerous to human, because pumas at least must have some experience in hunting people before it starts hunting people, unless it's not very logical, I think. But we've been told that it's not very dangerous, and there were attempts to capture this poor creature alive, of course. Yeah, I think it's a sign, you know. As soon as I started talking about this Russian combat magician, I saw that damn spider. I think it's a sign. This stuff works, believe me. What do you think of all the Belarusian APCs sent to the border? And that's a very interesting question. I wanted to discuss this with you guys. So there is a possibility of another northern invasion from Belarus, and I think that this may happen in case of our success on the south. I'm talking about Kherson, where we are developing our successful counterattack, and of course Severodonetsk. So as soon as we started taking those territories under our control, back under our control, we have received a bunch of their missiles on Kiev, and basically we can expect them to use their forces that are stationed in Belarus in order to distract our attention and make us use our reserves that are here in Kiev and other cities. So today I talked to some of guys from Kiev, not Kiev, it was a Bucha territorial defense. They told me that they are preparing. They had a lot of trainings these days, and today they had some specific training for urban combat, and we are all preparing for that. So in case they will try to invade us one more time from Belarus, we are prepared for that. We have prepared a lot of our defenses in that area. How you defend against a nuclear attack? So we had this joke here in Ukraine. So if there's a nuclear explosion, what you have to do is you gotta hold your weapons in front of you to avoid drops of metal making stains on your uniform, something like that. It's kind of funny. How many Ukrainians actually support Russia? Uh, I would say there was a bunch of people on the east of Ukraine that supported Russia, and the main reason for that, it's like from the history. The main reason for that was that this region is closer to Russia. I mean the border. And a lot of people from eastern Ukraine used to go to Russia and work there. They received their money in Russia, and of course they have a lot of families in Russian Federation. Another thing is that all kinds of Russian media, like television, like radio stations, are covering that eastern part of Ukraine. And whenever you are watching video where Chechens are constantly called terrorists, where your government is constantly called Nazi regime and stuff like that, after some time you start believing in this crap. And basically that's exactly what happened with Ukrainians who live in occupied part of Donbass. So they spent their whole life living in Ukraine, supporting Ukrainian football teams, working in Ukrainian companies, and then at some point in 2014, Russians arrived to Ukraine, to Donbass, like Girkin Strelkov, Russian KGBist, and after that they decided that it's not Russia intervened, it's not like Russia attacked Ukraine, it's Ukraine attacking Donbass. Which is like crazy, which is like, you live in in the apartment with 2 bedrooms, and like at some point you think that another bedroom is another country, but it's the same apartment. I mean, it doesn't happen just like in a second. It happens after years of brainwashing, basically. So that's exactly what happened in Donbass. A bunch of people supported Russia, a bunch of people supported pro-Russian parties in Ukraine. Currently, I'd say majority of Ukrainians, according to our polls, support Western vector of development in Ukraine, and nobody wants Russia. There's still a minority of people who support Russians. Basically, those people had some kind of past, some kind of background related to Russia or Soviet times. I know this story. I think it happened in Mykolaiv. So there was an old man who was some kind of military in Soviet times, and he coordinated missile strikes on Mykolaiv. So basically he was sending information to Russian FSB, and he was coordinating their missile strikes, and at some point a missile hit his house, and this gentleman ceased to be. So it was a sad story, actually, because we have a saying don't dig a pit for another person, because you will fall in it yourself. How will those Western weapons come to Donbass when streets and trains are destroyed? And that's basically the narrative that is shared quite a lot by Russian propaganda. So, according to Russian propaganda, all of Ukrainian airports are destroyed, all of Ukrainian aircraft are destroyed, all of Ukrainian tanks are destroyed a long time ago. So I have the screenshot from their Ministry of Defense that claimed that they have destroyed 5 times more tanks that are physically in Ukraine. Yeah, basically railway, airfields and stuff like that. But for some reason, those weapons still get to our front lines somehow. Interesting. How does it happen? Why is France so concerned with Putin being embarrassed? Yeah, it was discussed very, very widely here in Ukraine. Yeah, I totally support our foreign speaker, Mr. Kuleba, who said that it doesn't embarrass Russia. It embarrasses the person who doesn't want to embarrass Russia, because it's like, it's like when you see a dirty thug raping your sister and you're like, I'm sorry, sir, I beg your pardon, I don't want to insult you. And he's like, what? And you're like, I would like to speak to you, but please don't be embarrassed. I'm not trying to be rude. He's like, get out of here. Sir, please, don't do that. Like, it's crazy. It's kind of crazy. Here in Ukraine, we don't give a shit about Russians. I mean, their military might. We don't give a slightest damn about their nuclear weapons. Again, because they are scaring and spooking everybody with those nuclear weapons over and over and over again. It's very stupid to be afraid of Russia. It's exactly the moment when you gotta step up and beat that bully with a stick or a sword or an axe. Like, embarrassing a thug. I don't think that I have ever heard something as stupid as that. I don't want to embarrass a person who said that, but it's stupid. You don't have to be afraid of Russia. Yeah, Ukraine has better magicians than Russia. That's why things appear at the border and then magically at the front lines. Yeah, that's black magic basically. So we are efficient in using our black magic abilities. You should try stand-up comedy. No way. I will never do that because I will put myself at risk of becoming a president of Ukraine. And there's no worse, nothing worse than becoming a president of Ukraine. I cannot handle this job. So, no, unfortunately, I will not become a stand-up comedian. Ukraine made 20,000 Russian troops disappear. Yeah. So if you are prepared, we can teach you this trick. It's kind of cool. Okay, so we have people from Ivano-Frankivsk, glorious Ukrainian city, and my advice, after it's safe in Ukraine, you gotta visit Ivano-Frankivsk. It's a very, very nice place. It's like there's like two cultural centers, two cultural hearts in Ukraine. One is in Lviv and another one is Ivano-Frankivsk. What's my opinion on how Zelensky is handling the situation? So, as a military, I cannot discuss this because it's wrong. Because it's not my level. I can discuss level of press officers in another units. This is how subordination works. But in people's opinion, I would say that Zelensky does his job. I mean, he didn't escape from Ukraine when this invasion started, and he is he's expiring, I would say. I think that he has this talent of, speaking to people's emotions, and he does a great job. I think he does a great job with other presidents, prime ministers, other governments. He works, and today we all work for our victory. We are doing whatever we can, as militaries, as civilians. So I think that what he does is fine, totally fine. Do you think that Russia will declare war as... Damn it, I missed this question. So, the question was, do I think if Russia declares this war as victorious in case they claim the Donbass? I think they will claim this war as victorious even if Ukrainian army takes all our territories back, because they will say stuff like it was all according to plan. Everything goes as planned. So they will say we have demilitarized plenty Ukrainians, we have denazified 20,000 tanks and airplanes, we evacuated a lot of Russian citizens from Donbass, and we won this war. This is how it works. Have I personally met President Zelensky? No, I did not. No, I did not. Wait. I'm old. I have problems with my memory. No, I didn't. Unfortunately. No, once. But it wasn't like personally. Anyways, no. The answer is no. Why US not sending Patriot system? I think this is a question for the US. Well, I'm not very familiar with Patriot system, as well as things like Tomahawks and stuff like that. Again, the equipment and weapons are different. Some are easier to use. Other weapons require years to, okay, not years, but like months to learn. Probably things like Tomahawk missiles require, again, I'm not an expert in Tomahawks, but they may require some specific equipment to program and guide them and stuff like that. Probably that's why we will not see them here, as well as some kind of other specific weapons. As for Patriot missiles, again, I'm not very familiar with those systems. So you remember Russians shooting down that MH17 Boeing over Donbass? They used their anti-air Buk system. And this is basically a vehicle with a bunch of missiles on top of them. And let me just show you briefly how it looks like. So Russians claimed that this airplane that belonged to Malaysian Airlines was destroyed by Ukrainian forces. So at first they created this story about Ukrainian pilot of Su-25, and Su-25 is not even a fighter. It's a attack aircraft. It's not a fighter. It's not an interceptor. Is just an aircraft that basically is designed to destroy tanks, positions, and personnel. And they created this funny story about Ukrainian Su-25 that flew like I think they were saying something like 300,000 feet above the ground, something like that. Echelon 35, so to say. Something like that. So basically they said that this airplane was flying so high that it doesn't correspond to its technical capabilities. So Su-25 does not fly so high as they claimed. That's why Russians edited their Russian Wikipedia and they put the corresponding number. And they made this. Wait a sec, I gotta show you all this. So MH17, just a second, please. Okay, here it is. So here we have this is the picture from their investigation, so-called, and basically on the left you can see the airplane that allegedly shut down MH17. I don't know, probably a lot of you know this story. On the right, this is the blueprint basically of a real Su-25. So what you see on the picture is probably Su-27 on the picture on the left. And this is a picture. Oh no, I cannot import it. No, I can. Just a sec. And okay, so this is a picture of this Su-25 shooting a missile at MH17, allegedly recorded by Russian intelligence satellite. And of course it was an absolute bullshit. So after that, and they even created a story about this pilot, and this pilot had some kind of foreign name. So yeah, it was crazy. And still, it was a nice Photoshop, I think. And yeah, the idea behind all this. Then Russians changed their version of this story, and they started saying that it was Ukrainian anti-air system that has shot down this MH17. On the other hand, there were claims that those were pro-Russian terrorists who captured Ukrainian anti-air system in Donbass and used it to destroy this airplane. It was like another version. So just for you to understand, just a second. So this is how the panel of this the control panel of this Buk anti-air system looks like. Do you know the I don't know the purpose of all those tools and instruments? I have no idea. So it requires a lot of time to learn to master all this stuff, and that's why joint investigation team from Netherlands performed their investigation, and they learned that this book was operated by professional Russian troops from Russia, and of course this book got to Ukraine from Russia, and then after realizing that they did something very, very wrong, they took this vehicle back to Russia, and we have videos of this vehicle being taken to and from Ukraine. So there's like tons of evidence regarding this case. That's what I mean. It was kind of long explanation, long answer to this question: why they don't give us Patriot missiles. Some systems require a lot of time to master, and there's more easier and more convenient systems that we can use at this point. Yeah, my dog was near. He just woke up because I'm talking in a loud manner. Yeah, sorry, Fuch. All tag Russia have is that tag they stole and copied. It's true. Let me just give you another example. Oh, Jesus. Oh, nice. Yeah, I found a great website related to this topic. So I think you can probably hear Fuch chewing on his snacks. So this is oh my god. So on the left, what you see here is Ford Model A that was produced by Ford Motor Company since 1927. On the right, you can see Gaz A, which was produced in the Soviet Union since 1932. It's fine. It's fine. All cars are similar, and there's nothing wrong about it. Unfortunately, I cannot just copy paste images directly into this into the OBS. So on the left here you can see Opel Kadett 1937. On the right it's Moskvich 400 1946. And for example, their most famous handgun. Actually, you know what? Let me show you this. One thing, like when you are watching a stream of your favorite streamer, you can play a joke on him and you can ask him to stand up, because most streamers don't wear pants. Believe me, that's true. Just 1 second. So basically this is a Soviet-made Makarov, the most popular gun in the post-Soviet space. And you can see how it looks like. Let me just make it full screen. Okay, so this is Makarov, which is used by police, by armed forces, and yeah, it's very popular. And this Makarov is the exact copy of Walther PPK, which was favorite weapon of Agent 007. Let me show you this. Okay. Yeah, so this is Walther, and this is Makarov, which was basically copied from Walther PPK. It has a different magazine, but basically is the same. So yeah, and the only handgun that was completely created from scratch by Russian inventors, their military designers, was APS. That's automatic handgun that is capable of automatic fire, and I think this spider is crawling on my leg now. So yeah, it was created from scratch, but it was kind of heavy, more than 1 kilogram of weight, and it was made of a very expensive metal. That's why its production stopped, I believe, in 60s or 70s, something like that. But one of the main advantages of this APS, and let me show you this. Oh my god, APS. Oh, you will love it, I swear. So this is Russian APS. It's a very old, not like very, but old pistol. It has a wooden holster that you can use as a butt. You can attach it to the back of this pistol and use it like a rifle, you know. But the main advantage of this handgun is that you basically carry something like 100 rounds together with this handgun, which is great. So like Makarov only contains 8 rounds in its magazine, and according to all of those bureaucratic books and field manuals, you can only have 2 magazines, which is 16 bullets, which is nonsense. And this APS gives you an opportunity to carry like 100 bullets, and that's great. The more the merrier. Okay, let's move to other questions. Putin says he is a communist, but he is actually killing communism. So you can Google this on YouTube. It's available. Putin was also calling himself the biggest nationalist in Russia. I'm not joking. It's on YouTube. Um, what do you think of Kirill Budanov's statement about Putin's health? No idea. I'm not sure, but today I saw this report from Google regarding the number of search requests regarding Putin's health, and there's a lot of them. So yeah, people are googling about it all the time. But they say that our thoughts are attracting events, but I think that it will not happen because Putin has some very, very strong combat magician in Kremlin. I think our attempts will fail, unfortunately. We got a lot of trolls in here today. Yeah, this is true. So whenever I see comments made by Russian trolls, I simply make coffee and have a good laugh at them. But I am very, very grateful for those commentaries to my videos, because they attract more attention, more publicity to our videos, and they help Ukrainian army to gain more resources, more funds, to buy more gear for our soldiers, to eliminate more orcs. And basically I think that all those Russian trolls who made all those comments on my YouTube since the beginning of this invasion, basically they deserve a medal, a medal from Ukrainian Ministry of Defense. Was it determined what the origin was of the missile that struck near Kiev earlier today? So yeah, we have information that those missiles were launched by their strategic aviation from around the area of Caspian Sea, which means they don't use their Black Fleet to launch those missiles today. I mean, at least today. Again, it requires some time to load those vessels with missiles. And yeah, those missiles that hit Kiev this morning were launched by their strategic aviation over the Caspian Sea. According to our information, there were 6 missiles, and I believe one of them was shot down by our anti-air defense. But yeah, the other 5 were lucky enough to reach their targets, unfortunately. Are the people of Crimea with or against Russia? It's a very interesting topic because Crimea was populated by big amount of Crimean Tatars. Like Crimean Tatars are natural population, let's call it this way, of Crimean Peninsula. In 40s, Stalin decided to make this deportation of Crimean Tatars, and I think as much as 2 million of Crimean Tatars were deported from their homes to distant areas of Soviet Empire, like Siberia, Kazakhstan, and stuff like that. And there's a question: who started living in their houses? How do you think? Bingo! Yeah, there were Russians. So people who moved into the houses of Crimean Tatars that were deported to distant locations of Soviet Empire were basically parents and grandparents of those people who today claim that Crimea was always Russian, just for your information. Basically when this war started in 2014, when Crimean Peninsula got annexed by Russian troops, Crimean Tatars were opposing that, so they majority of Crimean Tatars support Ukraine, and a lot of them were forced to move from Crimea to Ukrainian, like deeper to Ukrainian territory, Ukrainian cities like Lviv, Kiev, and they settled here as refugees. We have a lot of documented cases of repressions that are being conducted by Russian troops on Crimean people, on Crimean Tatars in Crimea. Those people, they mostly support Ukraine. And again, a lot of Russians lived in Crimea. So in 1992, I believe, there was this first attempt to create this fake referendum. In 1992, Russian FSB started disseminating passports, the Russian IDs, the IDs of citizens of Russian Federation, among people living in Crimea. But that time our government reacted very fast, so they sent Ukrainian National Guard to Crimea, and basically there was a big number of Ukrainian National Guards stationed in Crimea at all times, because we wanted to control this situation. We knew that Russians would attempt to do something like that again. But unfortunately, in 2014, we had to move our troops from Crimea, those who refused to make pledge to Russian Federation. And as a National Guardian, National Guardsman, I'm proud to inform you that the biggest number of troops that refused to switch to Russian side were Ukrainian National Guards, or so-called internal troops that started to be called National Guards later in 2014. We always ask questions, but not how are you? Are you okay? I'm totally fine. I'm in Kiev. Nothing bad will happen to me here in Kiev except for some unfortunate missile strike, probably. Are we still using Bayraktars? Yes, we are. Can you tell us more about the bullpup rifle used by the Ukrainian forces? So, Ukrainian armed forces, specifically our special forces, are using this AK version, this bullpup version of AK called Malyuk. I remember that they were trying to create the bullpup version of AK previously and call it, I think, Vepr, which is a wild boar. But something failed. And this another version of bullpup AK is basically better. So in 2019, I think, on Svetlodarsk Bulge, there were those special forces guys. They were visiting our position for some special purpose. And yeah, we've been drinking coffee, and I noticed that Malyuk, that bullpup AK. Actually, I will show you this. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, you gonna love it. So this is how it looks like. As you see, this is a bullpup version of AK. I can tell you exactly that this type of location of AK's magazine is not very convenient, because unlike with AR-15, where you just push the button and the magazine falls down, you gotta insert a magazine into AK with this kind of round motion, and as you see, the end of this magazine can be in a way of the handle of this rifle, but it's kind of convenient because you have most of your weight on your shoulder, and you can basically use one hand to shoot this rifle while doing other things with your other hand, like scratching your head or other parts of your body. And I remember I have had an experience of using our Fort 221, which is Ukrainian version of Israeli Tavor. The main difference is that Tavor, I believe, is made for 5.56 millimeter NATO rounds, and in Ukraine we changed them to 5.45 millimeter rounds. And let me show you this. Yeah, and those rifles are pretty similar. I would say that they are almost, not like exactly, but almost the same. Oh my god, they are all such a... Yeah, here it is. Jesus Christ. Show me the picture with a better quality, please. I have a stream here. Okay, let's use this one. So this is okay. This, oh Jesus. Here you are. Okay, so this is Ukrainian version of Israeli Tavor. Again, it's a very nice rifle because you can use it basically with one hand. It's a very convenient rifle for urban fight, for CQB and stuff, because you can use your free hand to open doors, throw grenades, and I don't know, use your handgun with your rifle. No, don't do that, please. It's stupid. Yeah, and it was very convenient. Its main downside was that in Ukraine, our soldiers like to use all kinds of muzzle brakes. You call them muzzle brakes, probably, or suppressors, sound moderators. And if you're trying to use a sound moderator or a suppressor with this rifle, you will have a lot of problems because its ammo gets very, very dirty. It gets covered with remains of powder and stuff like that. Yeah, so you better use it on AK because it's more convenient. And again, I saw our guys cleaning this rifle, and there's quite a lot of small parts that you can lose very fast in the field. AK has fewer parts, and it's a bit easier to clean. But I liked it. There's another version of this rifle. It's much shorter. In Ukrainian, it's called Fort 224, and this one was 221. And it's much shorter, and it's used by our tank crews and drivers sometimes. Yeah, but it's smaller, it's much more convenient. It's not as precise, but it's still very, very nice weapon. Okay. Were you a fan of Zelensky's TV show? I wasn't, because I don't know. I don't watch TV much in the real life, besides Russian TV, unfortunately. I wasn't fan of Zelensky. Actually, I didn't even vote for him. Just don't tell nobody. Yeah, because Ukraine is a democratic country and you can vote for whoever you want. But I don't regret it. I mean, he does his job and he does it well. So I think that we're lucky at this point. Have you seen the Russians using old-style weapons during Battle of Donetsk? So they are using old weapons a lot. I remember 2 years ago we were deployed in the area of Svetlodarsk Bulge, and there was this dude with this huge rifle. I think it's called Bur or something like that. So there's this enormous anti-tank rifle that was created in 40s, and it's not precise, but you can use it to spook the enemy, or sometimes if you're lucky enough to shoot at some kind of position or something like that, you can damage this position. And yeah, our recon guys improved this pro-Russian sniper, and we were lucky to read the confirmation on Russian social media. There was this man pictured with his enormous rifle, and they wrote something like, Valera was a great man. And yes, this Valera is now part of our jokes. PTRS, yeah, that's exactly PTRS rifle. There's a lot of there's a lot of Mosin rifles. So according to our snipers that worked in Rubizhne and in Svetlodarsk, they are using Mosin rifles a lot. Of course, they have a lot of Kalashnikovs yet, but yeah, they were spotted using those old Mosin rifles. How many generals has Russia left? Okay, so there's a lot of generals in Russia. Unlike in the US, they multiply those generals on a daily basis. But the fact is that those generals are the best they have. And yeah, at first I wasn't happy with eliminating their generals, because I thought that instead of this Soviet trained old dude, there will be some younger officer with better, more fresh views and perception and stuff like that, and some better ideas. But we can say that those old Soviet generals are the best they've had. What is best place in Ukraine to have a vacation near beach and warm weather? I think it's around Odessa and of course Crimea. I hope that after it's liberated from Russian troops, you will find a lot of such places in Crimea. It's very cool in, I mean, like generally it's very cool in Odessa, because there's a lot of historical sites, and Odessa is a very special city in Ukraine. So there's a lot of beaches. It's very hot in Odessa in summer. The difference with Crimea is that there are mountains in Crimea that don't let the cold winds to those beaches, you know. And I mean, those mountains, they kind of protect the southern shore of Crimea from bad weather. That's why it's always warm weather in Crimea, unlike in Odessa. But still, Odessa is very nice. I love this city very much, and one of my best friends lives in Odessa. Is there organized guerrilla activity in occupied territory? Yes, there is. So what you need to know about Ukraine is that Ukraine is a Eastern European cradle of guerrilla warfare. Ukrainians were famous for our guerrillas, like since, I don't know, since we remember ourselves. So we've had uprisings and revolutions against all kinds of invaders, probably since 1,000 years ago. There were a lot of partisans and those guys in 20s when Russian Bolsheviks invaded Ukraine, and we had a lot of combat against those bastards. And of course, we've had one of the most famous movement in Ukraine, on the Western Ukraine, that were fighting both against Nazi Germans and Russian communists. And they were successfully fighting until, I think, 1956 or something like that. A lot of them moved to Western countries. And and basically we are famous for our guerrilla warfare in Ukraine. We have a lot of experience in fighting again Russians, like for centuries. Do you think that Ukraine will make a large-scale offensive with Western new weapons? I bet that it will happen this way because first of all, we have to make our front lines more even. That's, again, it's not my level of planning and not my level of knowledge, but according to all kinds of strategy manuals, you gotta have your front lines more or less even in order to avoid such situations like in Severodonetsk, for example. Or there's like Russian example that was in Pri-Irpinya area in between Makarov, Vorzel, Irpin, Petrivtsi. So it's when Russians were encircled in the area north from Kiev, and there was a danger to either lose a lot of their troops, dead or captured. That's why they have retreated, which was smart. Otherwise, they would lose a lot of people. How's the Foreign Legion doing in Severodonetsk? Currently, I have no idea. I have information that those guys are deployed in Severodonetsk, and there's like big number of international troops that fight for Ukraine, currently deployed in Severodonetsk. I hope that soon we will have more videos and more information regarding this. What rank are you? I'm a first lieutenant, so basically it's a rank between a lieutenant and a captain. I'm not sure how you call it in NATO countries. Would you call beetroot svekla or buryak? So in Ukrainian it's buryak. In Russian I think it's svekla. And basically what surprised me, for example, in Russian military rations is that they make porridge out of this beetroot. It's disgusting. I have no idea how can they eat that, and probably that's the reason why they would prefer to rob our stores than eating that crap. What's the name of your heavy metal band? It's Starsky. I don't know. I don't have a better name for my band yet. And by the way, I hope that soon, probably next week, I will have another track finished. Yeah, I will make a presentation of this track for you guys, for all the metal heads out there. Oh, okay. What weapon, in your opinion, was overhyped? There was a lot of buzz about Switchblade drone, but I don't hear much about it today. So, I will tell you a small secret. The thing is that this drone is mostly used by our special forces here in Ukraine. And their press officer is responsible for informing public about their achievements and stuff like that. I respect this person very much, even though I don't know his name, but all the questions to this guy, because the results of publicity of your unit is basically the result of how hard or how efficient is the unit's press officer. So don't ask me, ask that guy if you're lucky to find him. What do you miss doing since the war started that you cannot do now? Sleeping. So Yeah, before the war started, I mean, before the invasion started, because we all know the war started 8 years ago. But we were able to travel to other countries. A couple of years ago, I visited Poland once again. I've been to Poland in 2014, and I like this country. My great grandma came from Poland. Uh, that's why I have this uh, genetic ties with Polish people. But yeah, we would definitely travel all around the world, visit European countries as well as Asian countries. So I have this guy in my unit that worked in Cambodia, I think, and he returned to Ukraine as soon as this invasion started. He acquired malaria in Cambodia, and when he returned back to Ukraine, he had it like once again for some reason, probably because of the climate change. But he nearly died twice, and it was crazy. But yeah, he's now fighting, and I'm glad that he's fine. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, one of the news that I wanted to mention today, and I think that I will use this picture to finish our today's stream, is this one. So this is our patron, and I must say that today patron was in a big danger, because you can see the look in the eyes of this cat, and patron is, it's like he's avoiding the eye contact. It was dangerous. It was dangerous because I know what those cats are capable of. They're dangerous animals. I had opportunity to see Patron myself. He's a very cute dog. I wasn't able to even pet him because he gathered a huge crowd of people that wanted to pet the dog and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I think he's our little hero, our little symbol of resistance. So, guys, thank you so much for all of your questions. I hope that you had a great time, and I think that yeah, we don't have air alarms tonight yet. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for all of your questions. Thank you for supporting Ukraine, and thank you for your donations that are spent for eliminating orcs all the time. I will keep you informed as much as I can regarding Severodonetsk. My colleague Max will send me a lot of materials soon, and yeah, hopefully you will be able to get acquainted with my colleague. I will do everything I can to make it possible. Thank you so much. Much love from Kiev to all the citizens of the free world, and we will see you in the next one. My name is Operator Starsky. Good night.